Hello everyone and welcome to the Moira Press day where we are doing art tutorial videos. Today I'm going to do a video on how to make any chart combination look beautiful. Now this is a challenge I gave myself a while ago because as remedies people we are trying to make any person, any personality, any combination of colors look beautiful on this earth. So what we can do is start with any three signs that a person comes to us. Let's say we're doing astro branding or we're trying to get them a color portrait or something like that. Um, and we're going to take their chart. We have to make that three colors of their sun, moon, and rising look good. Now you might say that, oh, that's easy, but let's take a weird combination like Aquarius, Leo, Capricorn. Aquarius we would say is like green tones or like turquoise greens, and then Leo is orange, and then Capricorn would be dark brown. Well, how do we make green, orange, and dark brown look good together? Um, if you just imagine those colors together, do they look good to you? Well, as astrologers, our job is to make a person mega manifested or the most beautiful version of themselves. And so it's like, how do we put together any three tones, any three sun, moon, and risings to just be beautiful, right? Well, what I'm going to tell you is that it really comes down to texture, tones, proportions, and materials. Now, there's many different media that we can use to render a chart. Like, let's say we were going to render it into a drawing. Well, then we would use different drawing supplies. So if I pull out green, orange, and brown in just crayons, I can pull out green, orange, and brown. Now, does this look good to you? Like, this is a pretty cool combination, but would I wear an outfit in this green, brown, and orange? I would not. To me, as an artist, that would look a little garish. It's just the green and brown here are just, I don't know, the green and orange, it looks kind of cartoonish, and, would I paint my car in these colors? Like, I don't know, So we're going to have to kind of work with this color spectrum to make it look really good. Now I just randomly picked three colors, or three signs, so like I didn't even prepare this. But now in today's episode we're going to look at beads as our medium. Okay, so I'm going to try to find green, orange, and brown beads that look good together. Now remember, it really depends on shades and tones and textures and proportions. Okay, so I'm just kind of starting to look through my stash, like, do I have any greens and browns? Okay, I have some greens up here. Now, those are some greens that are maybe not so, like, these are more light greens. It's not this kind of more a garish green. It's like a light green. Maybe that would look better with this brown tone. I'm not really sure. It really depends on what I have in my stash as well, right? Like, how do we really, if I was going to make astro beads for somebody, an astro bouquet or something, what can I, okay, so here's some brown tones of Capricorn. Now this texture of wood adds some kind of regalness, or kind of more, it looks less kind of clowny than a crayon. It's like, okay, now we've got dark brown on a piece of wood, and that's just a different texture. It has a different feeling. Wood is very respectable, and wood beads are a lot more respectable than brown plastic beads, for example. Now I'm having to look through my stash about what are my options here. It's like I don't even know what I have available to me, right? So I'm opening up these beads, and okay, what do I have for this project in here? Well, I have some orange tones here. So let's look at this orange next to this brown bead. Interesting. Okay, if I pair up that really bright orange with this wood bead, maybe I like that better because this is a different texture, right? We're mixing textures now. Now this green is kind of more olive green, and that has a different feeling with this orange tone, right? So let's look at that green orange with this brown. Okay, interesting. I think that looks a little bit better than the crayons look, but still, would I dress in that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this orange. I mean, You know, so I'm really gonna, as an artist, they're all different. I mean, this isn't a super formulaic art tutorial, it's more conceptual, right? So now I'm opening up this thing of beads, and do I have any options here? Well, I've got some brown beads here that are plastic, and they have a different feel to them. They're dark brown of Capricorn, but they have a different feel. Now it really depends on what I mix it with. Would that look good? Here's a plastic kind of orange bead that's less garishly orange. Like maybe this could be an option. So you see how a lot of it comes down to really thinking. You know, you have to really think about what materials do you have available to you that you could really put together in a way that looks really, really good. Now, in this pack of beads, I found this gem. Okay, look at these beads. These are dark browns, like Capricorn, but they have more of a like gem-looking tone. So I'm going to put these aside with my other brown beads because here's some options that I can pair up with the other things I find. Now, as far as the greens of Aquarius, you know, here I found some green kind of flower stems. Okay, so I'm gonna maybe put these aside. Now, wait a second. Something interesting's happening. I'm pairing this up with these brown tones, and that's kind of a nice combination. Like, doesn't that green and brown kind of look nice all of a sudden? Okay, well, one thing I don't like about this is the chunkiness of the brown bead kind of outweighs this green, although there's a kind of nice proportion to it. So these two are kind of, now we're coming into something that I like. Now, we started with this, but see how we've arrived at this. Now, this green and brown look a lot better together as far as like wardrobing and even car color and phone case and things like that. So, okay, I'm going to say these are kind of winners. Now, what am I going to do about the orange or the gold of this? Well, one of the things that really helps with Leo is when you take that orange and you turn it into gold. Now, you might say you're changing the color. Well, no, Leo is oranges, golds, all these kinds of things. And what if I put gold with this? Gold, brown, and green. See how now that's something you might wear, or, you know, what I would really like though is to have smaller, okay, we're getting close, but look at this. I kind of want smaller brown beads because the proportion's a little off with these actual green stems that I've got. So let me look in my supplies to see if I have anything smaller that's brown. I think I do. I just have to find it. Alright, we're in business. Okay, look what I found. I also found this jackpot of oranges. I still think that gold looks better than orange here for the Leo. Okay, so I'm going to find these brown, still they're the color of Capricorn, but they're dark brown and they're smaller. So now let's see how this looks. Here we go. Okay, now we're talking. We've got plants with brown stems and green tops. Now that's cool. And with the gold. Now I don't think this gold thread is really gonna go through these small brown beads. Okay, what am I gonna do now? I think I'm gonna go into my stash of yarn that I actually organized into separate little containers here. Now, sometimes I think I'm hoarding because I have a stash of stuff, but it really comes down to moments like this when we need the stash in order to build custom pieces. Now, here I found some gold string that's just smaller gold, and I think if I put this together with this, okay, now see how we've got something. Now that looks cool to me. Okay, maybe you disagree, but let's see what we started with. Okay, we started with this color combination and we ended up with this color combination. Now that's really something. Okay, I'm gonna build it actually now, and in that part of that, so we've disregarded a lot of things. I started looking at these, neither of which I'm gonna use. I started looking at these, not gonna use that. Okay, so let's see here what we can do. Okay, I gotta clean off my bead tray. I got a lot of stuff on the bead tray here. Sorry about that. I have no Virgo in my chart, so all the Virgos are disturbed at my lack of organization skills. It's not that I don't have skills in organization. Organizing never moves to the top of my queue because I'm so busy making art projects with my Pisces moon. And that is real. I get commissioned to make Astro-Beads a lot. Okay, so I've got this needle. This is a Beadalon collapsible eye needle. These are good because the eye collapses and you can collapse it around any string. So I'm just going to open up my little string here. First, let's put some of our supplies out on the mat here. Okay, so we've got our ends. Like, I'll probably build just a little tiny bouquet with maybe 5 ends to it. Okay, see there I did clean up. Okay, now I'm going to take these brown beads and going to pour some of those out. See how nice that looks together? That's really coming together. Okay, so now, and this was a Capricorn, Aquarius, Leo, which we're saying to them, you are beautiful. You are beautiful in your perfect form. It just depends how we treat you, how, in what proportions we treat you, what we, do with your chart. Those are all the lessons of this art project is, can we treat everyone in a way as to make them look beautiful to themselves? And now I'll tell you, I've gotten a lot of weird combinations over the years. I mean, that's one of the coolest thing about astrology is that there's endless combinations. So I'm just putting this through I'm trying to put it through, but I need glasses. Okay. I really do need some glasses. Okay, got it through. Okay. So, oh dear. Okay. Oh my dear Lord. Alright. Well, I'm going to put this through here. And then I'm going to put a bead down at the end. We call this a stop bead, which is where you put a bead on the end as to stop something from moving down the line. And that's one of my favorite lessons I learned from the bead ladies at the Portland Bead Society, was about a stop bead. Okay, so, man, I got this stuck in here. Okay, so now this gold is really making this pop already. I don't know if you can see that gold, but that's the Leo part of this person, is that they are. So now I'm going to tie this at the end here. And now we have this little plant bell on the end, and this is going to be kind of mimicking a plant. Now, anytime there's Aquarius in a chart, I do often mimic plants. A lot of Aquarians are like the go green types of people, and there's a lot of green in the system of Aquarius. So I'm just going to clip these here. I always use nail clippers when I'm beading. It makes a lot cleaner cut than scissors. And I'm going to try to put these in here. Come on. I'm going to have to get reading glasses. I think it's real. It's real when your astrology teacher is old. Okay, maybe I can. Being old in astrology is a good thing because it's a wisdom art, and if you're not having some years on you, you might not be able to help in certain cases. Okay, so, alright, no, jeez. Sorry, this is a part of the video where I probably should edit it out later. Okay, got it. Okay, so I got my thing strung. I got the thing on the end. Now I'm just gonna pick up the beads. Now I'm kind of doing a little bit of tutorial about how I actually bead things up. Now it really depends on what you're beading. As you see, there's many different sizes we could have ended up with, many different materials. But you got to use needles that are conducive to the materials you're using, and also the certain way to thread. That's one of the challenges of the technical side of beading, is that you have to technically make happen whatever is there with your materials. Okay, so now see how this is coming together and it's looking quite nice. It's like a plant, a Capricorn Aquarius plant. Now, I'm going to actually go through here with my line and give it some gold on the stem, because we have gold in the system here. If we don't get a proportion of gold in here, then it's not going to look Leo enough, and it's not going to look like the chart. We got to get enough proportion of the gold in here. So I'm going to wrap gold around this one too. I'm just going to make one of these and show you guys how I would make the whole bouquet. But yeah, I would keep going up here. Now, you'll get a Leo presentation here, because at the end of this bouquet, I'll go ahead, and once I made this whole bouquet, I would take the ends and I would braid them all together, and you would see gold at the end of it. So the bouquet would actually have a gold top to it. So anyways, so this is Leo, Aquarius, Capricorn, and I think it's a beautiful formation. Write in the comments if you agree or disagree. I'll probably take this apart actually, because it's not for a real person. But yeah, when you guys order your chart book beads for me or your chart bouquets for me, there is a kind of trust fall to it, because you're saying, can you pick from your stash and with your wisdom to make me beautiful? And you might get a bouquet that's this big, or you might get a bouquet that's this big. It all depends on getting the proportions right and all that kind of stuff. So you know, this isn't my favorite bouquet I've ever made. Or, you know, I might actually, you know, with this Aquarius, okay, so I like a little bit more of a chunky look, so I might actually take some leaves, like here's some leaves, and some chunky stems like that. Now that looks cool, right? Like that even looks better. And then I would use some gold thread like this. And here, see how it's a similar set of colors, but we have a different proportion and shape, and that actually looks nicer to me. So I probably would do that. I don't love these. Like, these are in my kit. I don't know. I got these years ago, but I'm keeping them around. They'll be really good in some situation. You know, sometimes I'm like, am I hoarding? But I always use my stash. So this looks very Capricorn Aquarius. So see how that really changes it. But it is a similar set of colors, but it's a different proportion and texture, and that really looks nice. So all right, well, if you want a challenge for yourself, if you want a homework from this, I would take charts of people you know, and I would start with the base 3 colors of your, you know, the chart, sun, moon, and rising. Now if you want more color theory, I have a YouTube video called the Astrological Color Theory under my name, Andrea Gehrz. Just search Astrological Color Theory, and I go through all the colors of the signs. But start with the sun, moon, and rising, and pick the 3 colors, and then move from there. Trying, it could be you're drawing. You might use markers, crayons, you know, podge or crayons, using different textures and tones to make it metallics, to make it look in a drawing. If you're doing fashion and wardrobe, it's all about the textures and all proportions and tones and everything like that. So your homework would be to take a few charts, sun, moon, and rising, and try to make that combination beautiful in several iterations and several mediums. All right, thank you. Have a wonderful day.